Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. Artificial intelligence is here, and today we'll learn how it will affect you from our guest, DJ Sebastian. DJ, thanks for being with us.
Bill, thanks for having me on your show.
Now, when we use words like artificial intelligence, right away I think people think sci-fi, fantasy, Twilight Zone, etc. So let's start off with a definition. What do we mean by that? We hear the term a lot. What is artificial intelligence?
Sure. Well, artificial intelligence, it's often thrown around loosely in the news media to signify anything that's somehow related to modern computers, advanced robotics, and automation. But really what artificial intelligence is, it's a set of technologies that involve the creation of brain power that's human-like. It can plan, reason, learn, and process natural language. And really, that's it. There's been elementary levels of pre-programmed artificial intelligence that have been circulating around for a long time. But the difference is that back then, computers had to be pre-programmed with every rule, every situation, and every result. But now with artificial intelligence, in this day and age, it provides the thinking by using available data to determine the best possible outcome.
And I know from reading your book where we're going with this, but give us an idea how this is going to disrupt our world and when. I think we all think of this as futuristic 20 or 30 years from now, but kind of give us the insight that you provide in the book.
Sure. I've worked closely with customers to help them implement solutions that are based on these leading-edge technologies like advanced analytics and artificial intelligence. And I understand what's possible now, what's coming, and what customers want in the future. So robots and automation started over 20 years ago when they were introduced into factories, and they replaced a lot of skilled factory workers. And people often liken those robots to artificial intelligence, but it's much more than that. Today, automation that's driven by artificial intelligence is here to automate routine tasks and repetitive business tasks that will increasingly impact white-collar professional workers. This is going to create a revolution in selling and in several other professional vocations. These were previously thought to be vocations that were safe from displacement. And I predict that in the sales world, up to half of the business-to-business sales jobs could be eliminated in as few as 3 years.
Wait a minute, that was one of those scary numbers. Up to one half of the sales jobs, you said. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes.
Now, I always thought the salespeople were pretty safe. So my next question is going to be the most important question of the show. Okay, so I want you to answer this carefully. Are radio hosts safe, or are we going to be replaced? And how long do I have if we are?
Talented, creative.
That's me.
Radio hosts that are great communicators.
I'm all that. Oh, we're safe?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. All right. So we just have to worry about that 1/3 of the sales force. But that really, I thought of all people, because you think of sales as one-to-one, people communicating, talking to one another, listening and reacting, etc. So this is really something serious, and I think, what did you say, within like 3 years, right?
Could start in 3 years, sure.
So, and I think as the show goes on, we're all going to learn that it's kind of creeping into our life already. Maybe we just don't know it. What are the trends in sales that's making that such a target?
Well, this new world of artificial intelligence, there's really three factors that are converging that form a perfect storm for the sales profession. I mean, I'm one of those that thought, it'll never change, it'll always be like this, but reality says it is changing a lot. The first factor is customer buying trends are changing. Increasingly, Customers are comfortable researching information on the web on what they think they want and need. They don't need a salesperson to help with that. And more self-service applications and e-commerce functions are available for customers to actually complete purchases without the help of a salesperson. In fact, the study shows that over 90% of buyers prefer to make purchases online rather than interact with a salesperson. So what we have is serious salesperson avoidance factors that come into play. The second factor is social communication trends. It used to be sales was one-on-one handshake, conversation, either by phone or in person, but so much of our interaction now in personal and the business world is electronic. People want to text, they want to email, they want to chat online. It seems that nobody wants to talk to anyone anymore. Well, artificial intelligence technology can conduct what's called conversational commerce. These are conversations that used to require a face-to-face meeting or a phone call, and those can often be handled through those other methods, email, chat, and text message. It's very impersonal. And then third, Salesforce productivity is down. Sales organizations frequently suffer from problems with productivity and high turnover. Some of that's because companies often operate with an extremely short-term mindset that's like deliver quickly or hit the road. And executives are constantly looking for ways to increase productivity and revenue. So to remain relevant, the good news is to remain relevant in the future, sales professionals need to reinvent themselves on a regular basis and do much more than just the transactional sales tasks that can be done by a machine.
Now,
and they need to transfer into that of a valued advisor and consultant.
DJ, are we talking about if I go into Macy's to buy a tie, or are we talking about B2B, which basically stands for business-to-business sales, where you're dealing with the high-level professionals who could go into a company and want to sell them 50 or 100 or 1,000 copy machines or cars or, items that are prestigious and pricey?
Yep. Bill, I'm talking about B2B, business-to-business, where it's high value, high dollar products and services.
And DJ, at this point in the show, we want to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today our guest is DJ Sebastian. He's the author of the book, The Selling Revolution, Prospering in the New World of Artificial Intelligence. DJ, would you tell us where we can get the book, and if there's a website where we can learn more and get more scared, if we can do that?
Yes, the book's available on Amazon in paperback as well as Kindle ebook. It's also, you can go to my website, which is djDonaldJames@thetechseller.com.
And we'll give that again, because I think as people hear what you have to say, they're going to get concerned, because as I'm going through the book, we like to think these things are off and they're in the future and they're not going to affect us. But as I read your book, I said, oh my gosh, this is going to start affecting us month by month, because when we're talking about 3 years, each month is like 3% of that time. It's not a long time, and more of these jobs are going to get eaten up. Now, you say how we respond is crucial. As just consumers, workers, employees, what can we do to better prepare for this and prepare ourselves so that we're not caught in the middle?
For the sales professionals I coach, our approach is brick by brick, and this applies to other professions too. So I've coined a term called the authentic expert. You can overcome the threat of artificial intelligence by becoming an authentic expert. So there's 3 layers of bricks in this path. First, you need to embrace personal qualities like integrity and passion and creativity, and of course perseverance as a salesperson. So you need to be trusted. You need to make sure the customer understands that you're just not there for a quick deal and then you're going to disappear. You're going to support them over time. And that's that level is foundational and is absolutely required. And then on top of that foundation, there's a commitment to continuously develop your skills, sharpen those capabilities, and determine how you can differentiate yourself from both your peers in your company and competitors. One way of doing that is to become a proactive advisor. So that is, do the research, learn as much as you can about your customer's business, offer them creative ideas where your solution can help them solve a problem, or based on your knowledge of the industry, you can help them achieve greater market share in their business. Then be positioned to deliver significant value. Businesses want to see that they can achieve value, that they're not just buying the next shiny toy. And then develop a champion mindset. So just like an athlete or a coach who's a champion, you must be self-motivated, demonstrate leadership, and have a winning attitude. And I'd say most importantly, and I've had to do this several times over my career, you have to reinvent yourself on a regular basis, because the business world changes on a dime.
As I'm hearing it, it just came to mind that now the salesperson, rather than coming in and saying, I want to sell you 25 of my super duper copiers, really has to be more like a doctor or a lawyer and listen to your problem first and then say, I do have a copier that would cure it, but it might be too expensive for you, or you might want the smaller model, or you might want few of them. In other words, he or she has to think of the client first and not just what's going to earn the most commission for them or their company. Is that kind of the deal?
How long you've been in sales, Bill? 'Cause that's exactly how it works.
No, you're teaching me, and reading your book. I know I started out reading it, and then I got scared as I read it, because I'm saying, oh my gosh, this is closer, and some of the things are truly amazing. Can you tell us examples of any companies that are doing this now, or something that we might deal with on a daily basis that are moving into this area, and we might actually even be able to identify them or recognize?
Yeah, it's going to happen in phases. So the initial phases are already being implemented. For example, in the call center, that's the easiest way. Companies staff their call centers with entry-level people, if you can believe that. So somebody is meant to deal with the customers on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, yet they're brand new, they don't know the products, they don't know the services, they don't know the answers to questions, but they put them on the front lines. So that's the easiest place to automate, and it's already being done. There's things called chat bots that are out there that can take care of conversations that are virtual, and some of them are so good. I know Amazon has one. Several other companies that are in large scale number of customers have them, and sometimes you can't even tell if you're chatting with a real person, maybe offshore, or a bot. And sometimes you can tell by how quickly does the answer come. If it comes in a half a second after you hit submit, it's probably a bot. But that's the first step. There's also automation that's going to be coming, and a lot of companies are already implementing this. They're using advanced analytics to be able to understand more about their positioning, their customer, identify going through their deals, what has the highest propensity to win, where do you have problems, where do you have salesperson performance problems. You can detect that at the end when they're not closing business. Well, how about if we try to find that out as early as possible so that we can solve the problem for them before they have too many failures?
DJ, this sounds like Moneyball for business. And for those who don't know, Moneyball was a book about baseball, and they broke down like simple catching, throwing the ball, different places in the outfield, all to numbers, how far, how often they did it, who made the most errors, and it became a game of metrics. Is that what's happening to sales?
It is, and Moneyball was a great example of early adoption of advanced analytics and using data as your way to compete.
Now, when we come back, we're going to take a brief break, but I'm going to warn our audience, you're going to get scared when you find out what this artificial intelligence can do, because I certainly did. But at this point in the show, we want to take a brief break and remind our audience that I'm Bill Horan, and today our guest is DJ Sebastian. He's the author of the book, The Selling Revolution. We're going to take a break and let you know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. We'll be right back.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier.
My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I feel like if I didn't have anyone to push me, I wouldn't give a bother to do it. I got one milestone down the drain, and now I got to work on the next. I see the future is really bright for me. I feel like it doesn't matter the age, as long as you go back and get it done. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
No one gets a diploma alone. You have more support than you realize. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today we're speaking with DJ Sebastian, author of The Selling Revolution. DJ, in your book you mentioned that the cognitive engine, as you call it, can simulate human thinking process. Would you give us a few examples of that? Because I know it definitely surprised me when I read it in your book.
Yeah, there's a number of advanced technologies that have emerged. The cognitive engine being basically the brain. It's a breakthrough technology. It's out in the market in a couple of different solutions, and what it'll do is it'll take all the data that it's got access to, and it uses things like machine learning and algorithms and all those fancy terms that we hear in the news media to be able to derive a decision. So it's coming up with, here we are with, we need an answer to a problem. It'll do that evaluation based on the available data, come up with the answer, and then we can look at if that's a good answer. It has learning so that it gets smarter every time you use it. Cognitive engine is really being used today. If you look at, if you buy something on Amazon, you'll learn that, people that bought these sunglasses also bought a beach hat. So it's doing that using cognitive technology by knowing you as a consumer, you as a customer, and their data that says 87% of the people that bought these sunglasses also bought a beach hat. I'm planning my vacation trip this year to the Florida Gulf Coast, so I thought that was an appropriate example. But it uses a cognitive engine to be able to figure that out, and it checks it each time the next transaction. So did that customer actually buy that beach hat, or if so, it gets scored higher. If not, maybe it moves down in scoring and it presents a different option the next time.
That's really getting spooky. And honestly, as people read this, I think they're going to think it's science fiction or a mystery movie or documentary, but this is happening. And in fact, you tell me they can even identify the best responses on their end, what people like to hear that's more acceptable, because most of us, if we call in and we get what we can perceive as a machine, we would say, put a representative on or something. But these machines can actually identify what the best solutions are for us. And as they do it, like you said, they're actually getting smarter and smarter with each phone call. Did I understand that correctly? Because that amazed me.
They are. That's correct. And really, what the motivation for me to write this book was in sales. I worked at IBM, who has the Watson solution, and I worked at another company called SAS, who has advanced analytics solutions. And just sitting in meetings with customers and sitting meetings with my team, talking about what's possible and what we could do now and what's coming, some of us got scared, and I'm trying to broadcast that warning that it is going to change, but here's how you deal with it so you can survive and thrive in this new world.
Survive and Thrive. That's your next book, Survive and Thrive. I think that's going to be the... Now, again, something else that really got me going. These machines even listen to our tone and sentiment. So if I'm being sarcastic with them and go, oh, that's a great solution, they know that, and they'll come back with something else, or they'll change it for the next person. Did I get that correct?
That's right. If you said this movie was really bad, well, depending on your context of what you said before and after that, it could mean that it was really cool or it was terrible. But yeah, the tonality and evaluating tone is there in these cognitive solutions.
And if I heard what you said before, the machine actually gets smarter with each customer interaction. So like a good doctor or a teacher, if they're growing in their profession, even if they make a mistake in the way they've handled a situation one day or 1 hour, the next time that comes up, that machine knows that and will handle it in a better fashion.
That's right. And a good application for artificial intelligence is the medical field. So going through and scanning all these medical journals to come up with what's the best treatment for cancer patients and then pass the recommendations on to oncologists, those are happening today.
Wow. More and more amazing, and I think I want to make sure our audience knows that at this point in the show you're listening to The Secrets of Success at the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Bill Horan, but the main person you want to listen to today is DJ Sebastian, our guest. He's written a book, The Selling Revolution, and most of us in one form or another we're selling. Even the little Girl Scouts, they're selling you those cookies. They'll probably be using the machine soon. But if you're the seller or the buyer, you want to know what's in this book because it's coming, and why be the last one to get it when you could be one of the first ones, when you could benefit from it, perhaps save money if you're the boss or running the organization or the entrepreneur, or if you're on the other side, just to know what's going on and the good and the bad, what to look forward to. DJ, if we want to find out more, can you tell us where we can get the book, The Selling Revolution, and also if there's a website where we can investigate you a little more?
Yes, the book's available on Amazon, so if you just type in DJ Sebastian, you'll find it. It's there in print copy as well as Kindle ebook. Or you can also go to my website, which is www.thetechseller.com.
And that's easy to remember for anyone. Thetechseller.com.
Yes.
Easy enough. And again, the book is The Selling Revolution. If you're in business, you better know about this because in 3 years they may say, well, you should have read that book 3 years ago because your job just isn't there. And what DJ is telling us, about a third of sales jobs are going to start disappearing. But if you're ahead of the curve, you can know what to do. You can be prepared and still do that work that you do best. DJ, you've actually said this is what we're facing now, the fourth industrial revolution. So we're actually a part of history. Is that correct?
Yeah. The first one was steam engines, then electricity, then the information age, and now advanced technology driven by these things we call artificial intelligence. Yes.
Now, how does the artificial intelligence that you're telling us about, how does it use information to forecast the future for a business?
You know, if we could figure that out, I've had my team try to figure out if they could build an algorithm using AI to predict the stock market, what's going to happen after this company releases their quarterly numbers, or what's the prediction for next year. I haven't come up with that yet. There's too many variables and there's too much emotion involved in something like that. But where we can get hard data from the past and then simulate that going forward, we can get pretty accurate.
Now, is this something a regular business installing artificial intelligence? Is this only for the top of the top, the most, worldwide multinational businesses? Or can this be part of a doctor's office, a local lawyer, accountant, plumbing company?
Yeah, there are some small legal firms that are starting to use AI to consume legal briefs and examine the volumes of data that they get on past cases to determine how they should pursue a case. So that's just one example. But it's not just for the top of the top. People are using these technology tools, vendors and suppliers, to build applications. So you'll see apps that'll have this underlying artificial intelligence technology that will be able to perform the things we talked about. One of them is a virtual sales advisor machine, call that SAM in the book. And this is not there yet, but there's such a rapid rate of technology adoption. If you look at smart assistants like Alexa, went from nothing 3 years ago to being installed in 100 million homes. So think of the Alexa for business, where a CEO or a CFO can just ask a few questions and then just get some information, because the data's all out there. It's in the cloud. It's out there on the internet. We don't have these proprietary servers that we need to hit to get all this data. And to tell you the truth, the multinationals, the top of the top organizations, might have more challenges implementing this because their data spread all over the place, and their first wave is going to be to get some commonality in the data. A lot of them grew through acquisitions, so they don't even talk to each other from an organization standpoint.
Now, I'm just wondering, as you're going through this, so is this realistic that, let's say, maybe in a year from now, I might walk into a Starbucks, they use facial recognition or whatever, they see me and the voice comes on, "Hello, Bill, do you want your usual decaf with 2 teaspoons of sugar?" Is that very realistic or something that would be what you're talking about?
The technology's there to do facial recognition or recognize objects and charts and video and things like that. It would just be a matter of, is Starbucks ready to go to that next step? I don't think they're very far off.
I think if it's me, they're going to say, "Hello, Bill, you forgot to leave a tip last time, and perhaps you want to double it up this time." DJ, you've really hit on some interesting points, and I want our audience to know this and pay attention when we're telling them. Our guest today has been DJ Sebastian. He is the author of The Selling Revolution, and you heard a few of the things that he's talked about. It's not fantasy. It's not science fiction. This is coming. More and more you're hearing about it, and you can say you heard it first, and if nothing else, it's going to make you very interesting at the next cocktail gathering when you get together, or next party. DJ, once again, tell us the website where we can find out more.
It's www.thetechseller.com.
Definitely go to that and find out what the future holds for you. Thanks for being with us today, DJ. We'd like to let our audience know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.